Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 4th of May. The first important news, that is India cost of adaptations to the climate change. We'll see the detail of the RBI report. Second, governance initiative to capture Manrega attendance. There were a lot of controversy and even the bottlenecks that have emerged because of the registration for the attendance digitally. Third, Minister of Defense lays foundations of Coast Guard facility in Maldives. The Defense Minister of India, Mr. Rajnath Singh, is a visit to Maldives. A lot of MOUs and other part of the security exchange taking place between India and Maldives. Second last, that is World Press Freedom Index, where the ranking of India has deteriorated further. We'll see the classification and the details of India's ranking compared to current year and the last year. And the editorial for the day, that is guaranteed pension is not a bad economy. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So, this is all about the part of the list of the news that we'll be discussing. And before I start this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for examination purposes, do press a like button. And if you're an aspirant who are preparing for this time prelims, that is 2023, you need to practice a good number of questions. We at Apti Plus is providing you prelims test series for 2023, where 60 high quality tests will be provided. This will encapsulate the part of 6,000 questions along with 12 months subscription of the IAS Guest in magazine, which is a must read for current affairs. This test series is available both online and offline. For more details, you can check down the description where I provided a dedicated link. From there, you can check the details and purchase and even register for the prelims test series. So do check it out. Now, starting the session with the first news, that is India's cost of adapting to the climate change, something important for General Studies paper 3. You can count it under General Studies paper 3. That is the conservation, environmental pollutions, degradations and EIA, and even important for General Studies paper 2, where government policies and interventions are mentioned in the syllabus. So recently, the Reserve Bank of India, Department of Economy and Policy Research, this is a dedicated vertical of Reserve Bank of India that has come up with the report. और उस report में ये बताई गई है that India will need to spend an estimated amount of 85.6 trillion rupees by 2030 to adapt various industries to comply with the climate change norms. This is something very important to the fact that the target that has been set by India will have to, chased, and even for that, the finance part is definitely something which is inevitable in this nature. Without any policies actions, the carbon dioxide emissions level may rise up to 3.9 gigaton by 2030 from 2.7 gigaton in 2021. This is also a point of caution that has come up by the DEPR, that is the Department of Economy, Policy and Research of the Reserve Bank of India. Now, they have specifically come up with a point on the green financing requirement. जो suggestions आई हैं, जो report release की गई है, उसमें ये बताई गई है that the estimations suggest that green financing requirement in India could be 2.5% of the GDP annually to address the infrastructure gap caused due to the climate event, right? So this is again something relevant point which you can even use in prelims and directly use as a fodder point in a mains paper. Now, the report says that the sector-specific approach, specifically when it comes to the climate risk mitigation, is for the view that the difficult policies trade-off containing near-term adverse output, चाहे वो इंडिया की NDCs की बात करें, जो कि nationally determined contribution है, this was a part of the agreement that come up during the Paris climate change agreement. So उसके commitments को पूरी करने के लिए भी will require medium term to the no policies action. Definitely, this is something which India has actually made progress in this regard, but more substantial progress has to be done to achieve the target. Further, the report says that the sector of the economy have different emissions intensify and it is advisable not to have a uniform climatic mitigation strategy across the sector. Now, framework on climate-related financial risk की अगर बात करें, RBI is expected to set a disclosure framework on climate-related finance risk, guided under the climatic scenario analysis and stress testing shortly. The report, however, stated that prior to the implementations of the green capital regulations, your bad loans and even for the banking were required to be reduced to elevate the potential financial risk. So these are the part of the framework as the regulatory measures will be taken into action. As per the current policy, the nationally determined contributions, the impact of the inflation is expected to be minimal, or volatility की अगर बात करें, this is expected to increase. This is what has been reported on the complete report that was released by the Reserve Bank of India. Now, if you see the part of net zero emissions target, India has specifically set the target for 2070. और दूसरे countries की अगर बात करें, for Russia and China, they have set target for 2060, and for United States and Japan, they have the target for 2050. This is again important. And India's global goal to achieve the part of net zero emissions 2070 would accelerate the reductions in the energy intensity if terms of GDP will be about 5% of annually. And if you see the part of the favor of renewable energy, which is about 80% by 2070 and 20. This is by 70 and 71 exactly. Now, India in the world 4th biggest emitters of carbon dioxide. If you see the other countries, the top number is backed by China, followed by United States of America, then European Union, India, and Russia. Moving to the other news, that is governance initiative to capture Manrega attendance, something relevant for General Studies paper 2. That is the welfare schemes for the vulnerable section of the population by the center and the state government. So the union government has faced a lot of criticism over the use of National Mobile Monitoring System, which aims to capture the attendance of the Manrega worker. And why it was criticized? Only because there was a lot of bottlenecks in the app, and even the worker that is working there, the app is not worker friendly. So to overcome the problem, central government ने एक नई इनिशिएटिव ली है जहाँ पे संवाद या फिर डायलॉग स्टैब्लिश करने की कोशिश की गई है विद द सिविल सोसाइटी, एंड दिस इज समथिंग to promote the part of good governance and understand the problem of workers, the Manrega worker, so that government could come up with a policy which is working for the betterment of Manrega workers. So this is what the exact part of the policy that union government has taken. And the dialogue was chaired by the Rural Development Secretary, Government of India. Now, the demand of workers, definitely there was a demand from the worker, और बहुत सारी जो बात करेगा bottlenecks की, were technological bottlenecks and the people were not that sound enough to use it and even finding it problem because government ने recently geo-tagging की भी बात की है मनरेगा के attendance में. So following the changes that was introduced recently in Manrega attendance, the Manrega workers has said that they have come up with a protest under the banner called Narega Sangharsh Morcha and demanding rollback for the decision. What was two decisions that was demanded to be rolled back? The first was making the National Mobile Monitoring System app mandatory from 1st of January 2023 for this particular year, and requirement of the wage to be made through Aadhaar based payment system. तो ये दो चीजों की रोल आउट या फिर रोल बैक करने की बात की है मनरेगा के वर्कर थ्रू देयर नरेगा संघर्ष मोर्चा. Now, what is the other bone of contention और कहाँ पे basically बात नहीं बन पा रही, where there's a confusion, and again the unanimity is not between the government decision and the workers. So government, while making its stand clear, has said that it has brought the changes in the National Mobile Monitoring System for attendance and app-based, the Aadhaar-based system to disburse or even the part of the disbursement which is there for the wages, so that the government should reduce the part of corruptions and transparency, promote transparency which is there. तो गवर्नमेंट का कहना है कि हमने करप्शंस को कम करने के लिए और ट्रांसपेरेंसी को प्रमोट करने के लिए, बढ़ाने के लिए इस तरह के इनिशिएटिव्स लिए हैं. बट अगेन द वर्कर्स आर नॉट एग्री ऑन दिस पार्ट. दे आर वांटिंग दैट दिस शुड बी रोल्ड बैक. Some of the factors like poor network connectivity which is there in the rural areas, digital illiteracy among the workers, Beside the lack of awareness and even access to smartphone is not there everyone, they have to come up with a data plan, so that is an additional burden for the people, and दैट इज द रीजन दे आर आस्किंग इस तरह की चीज़ों को रोल बैक करनी चाहिए और कुछ ऐसे सब्सटैंशियल टेक्नोलॉजिकल सॉल्यूशंस की तरफ आनी चाहिए जो कि सिंपली उस वर्क पे ज़्यादा बर्डन ना करें. Now, what's on the talks table? 10 agendas. First is about the Geo Manrega, that is geotagging of assets. DBT, that is the transfer of the fund directly to the beneficiary's account. A real-time online attendance capturing app. Area officers app. और ABS की बात करें to avoid rejections due to change in the account and duplications. 7 registrations. CID, that is CIB, that is Citizen Information Board. Work file. And even that is called Jan Manrega, an app for feedback. Another is GIA paste or GP planning. So this is something that is going to help, and these were on the part of the discussion that was made. The Minister of Defense lays foundation for Coast Guard facilities in Maldives. Something important for General Studies paper 2, that is India and its neighborhood relations. So recently, India and Maldives mark major steps in growing defense cooperations by launching the constructions of harbor for the Coast Guard and the Maldives National Defense Forces. So as we know that the defense minister is on a visit to Maldives, and something very important to establish a relationship, the military relationship, and strengthening the part of IOR region in Maldives, something, right? So this initiative and this part is again important for the part of India and Maldives relationship. The foundations of harbor will boost the maritime security and even maritime capabilities when we're looking forward to counter the China in the Indian Ocean region, right? So that is again very important to understand the fact that India is always trying to help the neighboring countries so that the power and strength in the IOR region is something that was robust in nature. So IOR अगर बात करें इंडियन ओशन रीजन की, वहाँ पे अपनी प्रेजेंस को बढ़ाने के लिए even helping out the member country, India has taken such decision and even provided some petrol vessels to Maldives. Now, background: India and Maldives signed the pact for the development of Coast Guard facility in 2021 when India also extended 50 million part of the line of credit to Maldives defense project and the development of the Coast Guard Ekta Harbour facility, which is there in the Sifavaru, one of the biggest grant that was given from the Indian side. Focus area की अगर बात करें इंडिया और मालदीव्स के इस bilateral relationship या फिर defense cooperations में, they are exploring on the part of avenues on cooperations including the defense trade, capacity building and joint exercises. They have also discussed the need to promote people-to-people contact, which is again very important. So people-to-people contact will definitely strengthen the part of understanding the policies and help that is coming out of the countries, and even exchange between the armed forces of both countries. The Coast Guard facility is expected to end practice in Maldives, sending the vessels abroad for maintenance. Now, India की maritime diplomacy की अगर बात करें in the Indian Ocean region, they have the capacity building, capacity enhancement and collaborative efforts as a key pillars. और इंडिया ने अपने अल्टरनेटिव फॉर्म्स ऑफ कमिटमेंट में भी इंडियन ओशन रीजन को स्ट्रेंथन करने की बात की है, बिल्डिंग द शेयर वैल्यूज एंड इंटरेस्ट. एंड इंडिया डेफिनेटली वांटेड टू counter the China's move in the South China Sea region, where the China's dominance is something which we have seen over the time. So this initiative strengthening the part of Maldives and Taiwan will definitely help to counterbalance the part of South China Sea in Indian Ocean region. The India's vision for Sagar, that is secure and growth for all region, is again the brainchild for Prime Minister of India. Developing a capabilities of the friend and partnership for safe, secure and prosperous and stable Indian Ocean region. Now, moving to the other news, World Press Freedom Index, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is important aspects of governance, transparency, accountability and e-governance. So this news is something which is not good for India because consistently there have been fall in the ranking of India in terms of the Press Freedom Index. So according to the latest report, which was released by the Global Media Watchdog, this is specifically Reporters Without Borders, they have come up with the ranking that India की जो ranking है वो 11th place slipped हुई है and India is currently at 161. So Reporter Without Borders is a global watchdog for the media. And in 2022 the country has ranked 150. जो पहली ranking थी वो 150 थी, अब वो घट करके even we are decreased by number and now 161 among 180 countries. Now the top countries, the top performer, top three, first is Norway, second is Ireland and third is Denmark. These are the three countries with the top performance. और अगर बात करें वियतनाम, चाइना और नॉर्थ कोरिया की, ये टॉप बॉटम के लिस्ट में आते हैं जिन्होंने वर्स्ट परफॉर्म किया है, राइट, अमंग 180 countries. Now concern, the media associates in the country have raised concern over the report, even the index that was published recently. And the report voiced concern against the situation which is ongoing and problematic. Is a very bad when three countries like Tajikistan, India and Turkey are facing this type of ranking system. Tajikistan is down by 153, India slept 11, that is 161, and Turkey 16 place at 165. Now, brief about the Reporters Without Borders. उसके बारे में कुछ brief जानना आपके लिए ज़रूरी है because there can be a direct question asked in the examination. So, Reporters Without Borders comes out with the global ranking of the press freedom. Every year they release it. And it is an international organization with self-proclaimed aim at the defense and promote media freedom. It's headquartered in Paris and it is a consultative status in the United Nations. Its objective is to part of the World Press Freedom Index. It releases every year. And even it helped the journalists, the enjoyed by journalists and media variety countries. And the previous calendar year is also taken into consideration that what is the performance and how the progress was made by the specific country. Now, if you see the part of the ranking which is there, for India it is definitely for this year 161. और जो हमारे neighboring countries उनकी performance काफ़ी अच्छी है, like Nepal with 95. Even Pakistan is at 150. Sri Lanka is at 135. Myanmar at 173. Right? An Indian media landscape has more than 1 lakh newspapers, including 36 weeklies and 380 TV channels. And it has been reported that Mukesh Ambani, the chairman of Reliance Industries, own more than 70 media outlets that followed by at least 800 million Indians. And moving to the editorial of the day, that is, guaranteed pension is not a bad economy, something important for general studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So what I'll be discussing under this editorial, first about the theme, and the focus of this editorial is about the pension right, a mandatory pension right that has been demanded by the ex-employees. We'll see the important issues like expert take on the pension, demand for the guaranteed pensions, and the government moves. So starting the discussion with the basic premise and the context, if you see, pension is something which is acting as a social security and livelihood security to the all ex-employees of the government of India, state government, or anywhere if you're serving for the government, PSUs, be it government, or directly or indirectly. So the pension facilities by center and the state government provide a flexible mode of old age income security to the common person. This is what the definition goes for the pension. With multiple state government announcing their revisions, their reversions to old pension scheme, some of the more speculating to do the same has been debated. Pension is a hotting up. If you see the part of the example which is there, so Rajasthan is the government which has come up. Even for Jharkhand, they also come up. Even Bihar is looking forward for that. Many states, and when if you see the part of Chhattisgarh, they are also planning to reverse that. So there's a demand in the recent time to reverse the part of old pension scheme. Why? Because with the old pension scheme, when a person retire, in the retiring age, whatever salary he has drawn, right? जो last salary drawn होती है, last salary drawn will, as a pension, they will be provided 50% of the last withdrawn salary. So suppose if you are withdrawing 50,000 rupees as your last salary during the retirement, you'll receive 25% of it as a monthly pension. So that means 50%, that means 25K, right? 25K is the amount, 25,000, the 50% of 50K that you'd be receiving every month as a pension, right? So that provide more security in terms of giving the livelihood options, and other old age security to the individual. Now, बात करें old और new pension scheme की, I'm giving you a graph. You can even take this screenshot for revision purposes. The old scheme guaranteed lifelong income in the post-retirement. Government bears जो expenditure incur करती है. Under the scheme, monthly payment are assured, which is equivalent to the 50% of the last drawn salary that I've discussed with you. Now, NPS की अगर बात करें, it's a participatory scheme जहाँ पे employees की contributions होती है, and even the salary from the part of the matching is contributed by the government. The fund is invested in the investment fund, which is managed by the public fund managers. And on retirement, 60% amount milti hai, which is tax free, and rest is invested in annuity fund, which is taxed. So this is what the complete part of NPS, and even to the larger extent, the people who are actually retiring are looking forward with an options called old pension scheme. Expert की क्या take है pensions पे? Now some expert are arguing that continuing with the OPS will be a bad decision. There's other opinion which is coming. Definitely in the society there are counter and something favoring something, someone is actually opposing that. So first जो बात की गई है that state has to bear full burden of the pension, and this will become physically unsustainable for medium term to long term. And second is that unsustainable rise in the pension will allow the budget not only to come up with the other part of the pressing welfare expenditure, but also for the poorer and marginalized section of the society. So दोनों argument में fiscal revenues involved है. When it comes to the fiscal revenues, even if the state are not getting grant from the center और proper allocations नहीं है, तो states के लिए काफी tough हो जाएगी to fulfill the part of the requirements. Demand for guaranteed pensions रखी गई है. The public sector workers are asking the guaranteed pensions, they're not looking forward for the new pension scheme, which is fluctuating, and even returns जो है that is not as per with the requirement. The government can deduct the employee's contribution toward the pension during the work life that can give them guaranteed pension after their retire. और workers की अगर बात करें, they readily accept the contribution guaranteed pensions, a blueprint of which we are present in the piece, and definitely let's see whether the complete part will be reversal, whether the government will come up with a reversal with OPS or not, but most of the state government have chosen to opt for the OPS. Now बात करें कुछ schemes की like CGPS and even part of OPS, NPS, ये कुछ rate of interest है जो कि mention की गई है. For NPS is 12%, for NPS it is 9%. Now government की क्या move है इसको लेकर के? There's a speculation that the union government may come up with the guaranteed pension of 30%, where earlier in OPS, that is old pension scheme, it was 50%. But again, this is something which will be too less considering the part of the inflation where India is witnessing the inflation at close to 6 to 6.2 to 6.5. Even to larger extent 7% on the safer side. तो अब 6 से 7 की band रख सकते हैं inflation की, which is again not appreciable. This would be grossly affecting on two counts. First, 30% fixed pension would give to the employees even lesser pension compared to with what is there in the NPS. Second, NPS inflation covered because of the normal circumstances and return are higher than the inflation. तो ये सारी चीजों को देखने की जरूरत है. Inflation adjusted interest is something that is welcome. That is the reason most people are investing in mutual fund or in the part of the investment that is giving higher return than 7%. Now, to conclude the part, I'm giving you this infograph that will help you. Like old schemes की अगर बात करें, 50% is something that was there. Since input in the financial burden to the exchequer, the center has introduced a new pension scheme. Schemes की अगर बात करें, this is available to both government employees and private employees. Contribution is 10% of the salary. Monthly invested in securities, cannot withdraw with the full amount of the retirement. 60% fund initially accrued होती है, 40% reinvest की जाती है. So this is all about the NPS and OPS. You can expect a question in prelims examination directly asking about the options and the facilities that is there under OPS and NPS. Now moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of your study questions. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question, the correct option is A. Today's MCQ for practice, Swar Dharohar Festival. It aims to showcase country iconic art and cultural heritage. It is organized by the Ministry of Culture. Second question is about the Rabi crop. According to the Ministry of Agriculture, the area under the Rabi crop is increased by 9% higher than the previous one. And many part of the northwestern state and the part of producing wheat, mustard and chana see warmer winter season due to subsidies, activities, and waste and disturbance. So this is something, this type of questions will be the part of contemporary and geographies also. You have to prepare your question accordingly, static and contemporary one, which can be directly relevant for the examination. So this was all about for the discussion of daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.